Achieving carbon neutrality has become a mandatory global goal, and we are striving to develop ways to recycle CO2 because carbon is a necessary substance. It is a necessary material in not only fuels but also chemicals, and we are trying to recover the CO2 that has been emitted by humanity. Ethylene is particularly useful, and we are developing technology to turn CO2 into hydrocarbons for use as resources for chemical feedstocks using renewable energy. There are several aspects to this technology. One is to recover CO2 from the atmosphere. Until now, the main technology for this involved recovering CO2 bonded to the surface of a solid by heating it to release it. We're working on developing a new filter that selectively lets CO2 pass through it electrochemically using small amounts of electricity. The issue then is to convert the CO2, enriched to a concentration of nearly 100%, into a chemically active state with high energy content. There are several ways of doing this, but we use an electrochemical method. For example, converting CO2 into ethylene, C2H4, requires a huge amount of heat. But with electricity, just 1 or 2 2 to 3 volt dry cell batteries can turn CO2 into ethylene. I think reactivating inactivated carbon by passing electricity through it is incredible in terms of making effective use of energy. The conventional process involved constructing a huge plant and feeding it with large amounts of heat to trigger large-scale reactions. Our electrochemical process only requires space equivalent to about a single building, inside which a plant can be set up to convert the recovered CO2 into ethylene. This is at the core of this technology. Passing electricity through this filter first breaks down water into oxygen and hydrogen. Within the urban cycle, the oxygen is used by humans and other living things to breathe. On the other hand, the hydrogen atoms from the water react with CO2 and is converted into ethylene and other resources. This is the fundamental principle on which our technology for electrochemically converting CO2 into a resource is based. We will ultimately expand the size of this filter to allow processing of large amounts of CO2. Our research covers everything from basic academia to a system that can ultimately change society. We call this multi-scalability. We're currently looking at how a pilot plant can be constructed within the 10-year Moonshot project and applied to society by 2050. We can't do this among researchers only. We need to take a more comprehensive approach to ensure the efficient and low-cost social deployment of this system. We hope to closely examine the technology to ascertain whether it is really going to help society and sow the seeds for our future. We'll efficiently recover CO2 emitted by people in cities and use renewable energy to convert it into useful chemical feedstocks such as ethylene. That's the kind of technology we're developing to realize a cool Earth.